Good afternoon. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. Welcome and thank you for joining the Tinexta Group consolidated results at the 30th September 2021 conference call. As a reminder, all participants are in listen-only mode. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Should anyone need assistance during the conference call, they may signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on their telephone. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Mr. Josef Mastragostino, Chief Investor Relations Officer of Tinexta. Please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon and good morning to the folks in the U.S. Thank you for joining Tinexta's first 9 months 2021 results presentation. Here with me today, Pierandrea Chevallard, Chief Executive Officer of Tinexta, Oddone Pozzi, Chief Financial Officer. As a reminder, all the relevant documentation of the first 9 months 2021 results can be downloaded from our company website in the Investor Relations section. For the purpose of this call, I will go over the first 9 months 2021 highlights and updates, as well as provide all the relevant information relating to the recently announced news. Oddone instead will go over the first 9 months 2021 financial results, as well as the business unit's performance, providing us with a deep dive. The last part of the call will be dedicated to Q&A. A recording of this conference call will also be available on our company website, and it will be posted upon completion of this call. At this point, I will kick it off by turning to page 3 of the presentation. The first 9 months 2021 results registered another leap forward for delivery, showing relentless progress. Please note that, in order to allow as complete analysis as possible, 9 months 2021 results are compared both at constant 2020 perimeter as well as on a 2021 perimeter, which includes all of Tinexta's companies with the addition of the newly acquired ones. Revenues came in at 261.6 million in the 9 months 21, growing 38.5% versus prior year and 7.6% on a 2020 base. EBITDA adjusted was 63.3 million in 9 months 21, growing 11.2% versus prior year. EBITDA reported was 59.6 million in the 9 months 21, growing 7.3% versus the prior year. EBITDA adjusted margin was 24%, EBITDA margin was around 23%. EBIT came in at 38.4 million, with EBIT margin at around 15%. Net income grew 7% versus prior year at 28 million. Cash flow was strong, came in at 44.3 million in the 9 months 21, growing on an LTM base to 58.4 million. Net financial position improves versus 1H 21 and stands at 191.6 million, or at 2.2 times in terms of leverage. Operating cash flow was extremely strong at 70 million in the 9 months of 21. All business lines continue to grow in the 9 months 21, with Digital Trust growing 12.3% in revenues and EBITDA growing 10%. EBITDA margin in terms of Digital Trust was 26%. Cybersecurity reached 51.5 million in revenue and EBITDA margin was 11.3%. Credit information and management increased 2% in revenues with a slight decrease in EBITDA of around 7%. EBITDA margin was 29%. Innovation and marketing services posted a very healthy plus 21% in revenues, with EBITDA rising 6% and margins standing healthy at 41%. In terms of the most recent information, Bregal Milestone was selected as a strategic partner to accelerate the international development. On October 27, Bregal Milestone invested 100 million euros for 16% of InfoCert Group. The agreed consideration corresponds to an InfoCert valuation equal to pre-money enterprise value of 501 million euros, calculated on a multiple of 20 times adjusted EBITDA LTM of InfoCert and its subsidiaries plus adjusted NFP as accounted for in June 21. The aim here is to establish a leading operator in the digital trust space at a European level. We also completed the acquisition of the 60% share capital of CERT Europe. Signing was completed on October 26th. Closing was successful and completed on November 3rd. Turning to page 4, let me give you some additional info on the partnership with Bregal. First and foremost, let us be very clear that from a strategic standpoint, the transaction will enable InfoCert to accelerate the internationalization process and seize the opportunities arising from the consolidation of the digital trust space. Bregal Milestone, which boosts its specific know-how in the tech sector, also offers an extensive network which will support InfoCert's expansion. The transaction provides for an investment by Bregal Milestone of 100 million euros, of which 70 million at closing and 30 million within the following 12 months, for the subscription of a dedicated capital increase of up to a total of 16.09% of InfoCert's share capital. The agreement also foresees the possibility for Bregal Milestone to further increase its participation, always in the 12 months following the closing, to up to 19.95% of InfoCert's capital, with a total investment of 130 million euros. We already discussed the valuation, so I will skip over on that. The transaction is subject to the usual closing conditions, including the attainment of Bregal Milestone's golden power authorization and the adoption of the resolution for the reserved capital increase and the approval of the new articles of association. The entry of Bregal in InfoCert capital is also subject to the closing of CERT Europe, which, as I remind you, has been completed on November 3rd. Turning to page 5, most of these numbers have already been commented, so I will leave it to Oddone to go over the 9 months 21 financial results.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph, and good afternoon, everybody. As already anticipated by Joseph here, you may see at page 5, the consolidated results of the first 9 months. As expected, the revenue is growing quite significantly, close to 260 million, and with the growth in the range of 40%. On a same perimeter basis, still the growth was solid, in line with our expectation, and very close to 8%. We will see then during the presentation, but we continue to have a solid growth both in digital trust and IMS. The growth or the change of the perimeter definitely helped with the growth, with the contribution, the most significant contribution from cybersecurity above 50 million, with Querio and Euroquality. EBITDA adjusted grew compared to previous years at 11%. On a same perimeter basis is slightly below, but we have to clearly remind that last year was here very different in terms of calendarization compared to the usual year. Just to remind everybody, Q3 20 was up more than 50% compared to Q3 19, while Q4 20 was below Q4 19. I think this is a very key point to keep in mind going through the figures that we will see. Any case, EBITDA adjusted was up more than 10%, and also net profit is up 7%. If we go through the P&L as anticipated by Joseph here, we may see that we have the comparison also on the same perimeter basis. As you may see here, the revenues, as commented before, was up 7%, while the EBITDA adjusted is slightly below. We have to say that here we were affected partially by the different revenue mix that we have compared to the previous year. For example, digital trust is keeping a solid growth both in terms of revenue and in terms of EBITDA, with the margin slightly below. Credit information kept a very high profitability in the range of 29%, while IMS has been impacted, as already anticipated during the previous call, by the different revenue mix that is facing this year. But we will go to comment later on. The total EBITDA adjusted margin is in the range of 24%, and this is definitely affected, but as already expected, by the new revenue mix, including the cybersecurity, as of today, is counting for 11% EBITDA margin. Stock option and non-recurring items are up compared to previous year, as the stock option plan last year started since basically July, and so was accounting only for 3 months. Now it's accounting here for 9 months. And in addition, the cost for running all the activities of M&A that we put in place during the first 9 months of the year accounted for almost 2 million euro. Depreciation, amortization, provision are growing also because of the change of perimeter. We accounted less loss on account receivable, driven by the very good cash collection that continues during the 9 months. Overall, net financial income and charges are slightly higher than previous year, as our net financial position was increased by the acquisition that we ran during the year. And at the end, the profit before taxes is at 35 million euro at 13.5%, while the income taxes dropped compared to previous year by the fact that we enter into what we call affrancamento delle imposte, so it's basically tax relief that we obtain, having some goodwill to be put in tax depreciation, and this provides us a benefit in the range of 3.5 million. So net profit is at 28 million, growing compared to 26.3 million of previous year. In terms of, if we go to the balance sheet, we work through the balance sheet, obviously our net invested capital grew quite significantly. This is the result of basically 3 major acquisitions we ran during the period: the acquisition of Corvallis, Yoroi, that we used to complete our business unit in the cybersecurity that accounts for almost 90 million euro. Then we performed the acquisition of Querio for other 50 million euro in the area of digital marketing, and then the acquisition of Forvalue for 55 million. This led basically the increase of the net invested capital, but within these figures we have to recall the fact that also in the first 9 months, the group, after a very brilliant 2020, was able to again to deliver cash from working capital through the reduction of working capital, especially focusing on our capability to improve our trade receivable collection. This accounted for almost 8 million euros. Net financial position obviously increased compared to previous year because of the above mentioned acquisition. We generated a very solid free cash flow in the 9 months for almost 45 million euro. The company went through obviously the dividends of 12 million during the Q2. And in addition, we had also an adjustment of the put as a result of the fact that the plan that we had at the time of the acquisition was improved by the real plans that then were approved by the board of directors of the single company. We continue our buyback program that now is in the range of 6 million. In terms of shareholder equity, the increase, partially part of this increase is the transfers of Forvalue to Innolva of the Intesa Sanpaolo for 55 million. Then the rest obviously is the net profit of the period minus dividends, the buyback program, and the put adjustment. If we move to the net financial position, as I explained before, you may look at it at page 9. So I explained how the debt increased compared to the end of the year. And if we move to the free cash flow, we have mainly 2 components that are affecting. Still is a very interesting, strong free cash flow, as this includes an interesting generation of cash from working capital for 8 million, while last year was slightly above. but still is something that sooner or later we stop, because you can improve the working capital once, and you cannot continue down the road. On top of this, we have to consider that we paid off 50 million euros taxes, driven by the increase of results in 20, and taxes then paid in 21, while last year we paid only 6 million. So the LTM free cash flow continues to be very, very solid. It continues growing for basically now 8 quarters in a row. I just to comment a bit more on the net financial position bridge, I will move to page 11 to see basically what the group has done in the last 12 months. The free cash flow has been very solid and strong, of 58 million, out of them 13 from working capital. Financial charges still very limited. We continue to improve our dividend policy that accounted for more than 12.6 million euro, while the net balance between acquisition and disposal was above 130 million. You can see here in the slide all details of all the acquisition that we perform during the period. I will move now to go deeper into the business unit. We already commented group level the results here. You may see that basically Digital Trust is going up, both in terms of revenue and profitability. Still, the revenue credit information is up in terms of revenue, slightly below in terms of profitability. The same for IMS, that is going down both in revenue and in terms of profitability. But let's walk through the different business units. Let's start from Digital Trust. We are very glad of the performance of Digital Trust, very positive results. The revenue is going up more than 10%, is in excess of 12.3%, and this is, InfoCert delivered very good results, both in terms of the shell product as well as of the digital transformation management project. And in several cases, we do see InfoCert being the global and the main contractor of transformational project, and sometimes also including third-party products to be resold as requested by our clients. In terms of EBITDA margin, still very strong at 26%, slightly low compared to prior year, but is only driven by the different revenue mix that we accounted in Q1. So overall, the company, the view is on track, is growing faster, and I would say even slightly faster than we expect in our projection at the beginning of the year. Let's move to cybersecurity. Here we do not have a comparison with the previous year, as the 3 companies were not within the group. We can tell you that definitely both revenue and profitability are growing perfectly aligned to our expectations. Definitely, as of today, Corvallis is still the major contributor, both in terms of revenue and EBITDA, but Yoroi and Swascan are also starting their path of growth, and they are contributing to the results here. The EBITDA landed at very close to 6 million, basically aligned to our expectation, and we are now ready for a strong Q4 as generally expected in this business unit. If we move to credit information and management, I think that here it's very important to look at comparison over the 3 years. Last year we do see a very strong performance in credit information and management, partially, not fully expected in this size, and definitely much better than our competitors in this segment. So Innolva and its business unit was able basically to overperform in the area of business process outsourcing, especially with in relation with the handling of central fund of guarantee activity, and this activity was very strong. And sometimes we look at it as a great opportunity, but also as a potential issue for the future. What we can tell you now, as anticipated at the beginning of the year, when we share our projection, we can definitely confirm that we are keeping the position, because still at 29% margin is a very important margin, and definitely is a significant improvement compared to 2019. We are slightly, above last year, but we still believe that in Q4 we can continue to deliver in a positive way, trying to keep the very important marginality that we are delivering here. Overall, the number of managed requests of the Central Guarantee Fund are still strong, and we do expect also a very positive Q4. If we move to innovation and marketing services, here is a mixed situation. Revenues are up in terms of in absolute value, and still also on the same base and perimeter compared to previous year. Basically, we do see within this number a very strong recovery from Comarch. Comarch is the company of the group that is providing temporary export management services to PMEs in Italy. Last year, during the pandemic period, was heavily affected by this situation, but in 2021, the company started to recover in a very strong way, and is delivering results, I would say, accordingly, slightly better than our expectation. If we move to Warrant, we knew that during 2021 we were going to face a quite unique situation, where basically driven by the budget law, basically benefits for customers in terms of finanza agevolata were expected to be much lower. Warrant delivered a very good 9 months on this area, being able to deliver a little bit more of revenue in order to compensate the lower marginality driven by the above-mentioned situation. And also being able to offset a slight decrease also in the area of central fund of guarantee that is offering to its customer. So overall, the business unit is delivering more EBITDA, thanks also to the positive acquisition of Querio. Querio is performing very well, both in terms of revenue and in terms of margin, and we do see a continuous improvement of the digital marketing activity. So let's move to the guidance. So basically, the group is now I am at page 19. As you may see here, we are in a position to confirm our guidance for the year end. So basically, the revenue is expected in the range of 370 million, as well as EBITDA adjusted is expected at in the range of 96 million, with an expected net financial position EBITDA adjusted at 2 times. Obviously, this is on the same perimeter we have at the end of Q3. We will have a different net financial position at the end of the year, as we completed the acquisition of CertEurope, that will account for 72 million of net financial position, but we will be in the position to deliver only 2 months of EBITDA out of the full net financial position. Still, we do expect a Q4 that is going to be definitely stronger than Q4 20 and even stronger than Q4 19. I'm talking at the same perimeter basis. It means, as anticipated, as I told before in this conference, the Q4 20 has been lower than Q4 19, so still we are facing a challenging Q4, but we feel very confident to achieve the result. As you may see here, also by half year, you see that Q2 first half 20 has been slightly lower than first half 19, while Q2 20 was much higher than the second half of 19, and the second half 21 is expected to be slightly above the second half of 20. So this is to provide you a full range of information here. Definitely the full second half 21 will be higher with the addition of cybersecurity, Querio, and Euroquality that we completed during the first part of the year.
Thank you, Donna. I would ask the operator to open the Q&A, please.
Excuse me, this is the Chorus Call conference operator. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. To remove yourself from the question queue, please press star and two. Please pick up the receiver when asking questions. Anyone who has a question may press star and one at this time. The first question is from Renato Gargiulo with Stifel. Please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Well, my first question is on cybersecurity. I was wondering, is the integration of the acquired activities proceeding in line with your expectation? Are you already experiencing some cross-selling synergies with the other divisions? And related to this, if you have any update on the partnership with Leonardo. Then second question, looking at the full year, you confirmed the full year guidance, but in terms of segment mix, compared to your previous indications by segment, do you see any business particularly outperforming or underperforming versus your previous assumptions? I can understand that probably Digital Trust is performing slightly better than you expected at the beginning of the year. Then very last question, very quick on the investment by Bregal Milestone, following the closing of the CertEurope acquisition, which was also one of the conditions. Do you expect the closing of the investment of this transaction by year end? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Let's start from the first question about the cybersecurity. Definitely, I would say that the integration of 3 different companies and 3 different cultures is not an easy job. We are progressing as expected. We organized very well, as we already shared during previous conference call, this activity. The business unit headed by Mr. Comasti is very focused, trying to put together an integrated offer and put it together an integrating organization. This is performing very well. I would say quarter by quarter things are improving, although it's not easy. We already so about the integration, I would say we are on track. The 3 companies are performing as a whole in line with our expectation. Maybe there is something that is performing slightly well and somebody that is performing slightly better, but I would not say this is a big issue. This is something that could be at some extent expected. Overall, the company is delivering the revenue we do expected, as well as the EBITDA. Definitely, Q4 is going to be challenging, but we are talking about IT industry, where generally the Q4 is the strongest quarter everywhere. So we are ready, we are on track, we are pushing to achieve and to deliver the results that we committed. In terms of fiscal year 2021, I would say that definitely we do expect, looking by business unit, we do expect InfoCert to keep being very strong. You know, InfoCert has delivered good results as of today, and we do believe this will continue in Q4. Looking at cybersecurity, I already mentioned the Q4 will be very strong, but we are ready to deliver and to try to basically to achieve the result. If we look at credit information, this is an area where we should deliver slightly better than what we have done as of today. Is challenging, but we do believe that results could come. Q4 for IMS is expected to be a strong quarter, while last year was a little bit lower than our expectation. We do expect a Q4 being very, very important, and Warren basically as the most important load of this delivery. Querio is, as I said, is performing well, and we do expect also in Q4 to be able to deliver outstanding results. If we look, the third question was about Bregal. You know, already Joseph basically provide you all the information about the deal. Definitely the closing of CertEurope was one of the conditions, and this has been achieved. Now there are other conditions that has been mentioned before, and you know, we do expect that potentially the deal could be closed before the year end. But you know, this is in hand of third party, is in the hand of an authority, so it is not basically in our end. So the deal is there, and obviously, you know, this is the path that we have to go even more and more international in digital trust. We did already a good step with the acquisition of CertEurope, and we are looking for other targets around Europe.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Russell Pointon with Edison. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, all. I have three questions, please. First one on going back to the cyber security. Just checking, the actual quarter-on-quarter revenue Q3 was a bit lower than Q2. Is that really just we all went on summer holiday, and probably more so than in previous years? So you obviously indicating a strong Q4, but just some feel of what happened in the third quarter. And also, going back to the question on cross-selling, could you just talk about, are you actually winning new customers? And, you know, are you actually staffing up appropriately? Next question is on digital trust. And could you just give some comments on how the business in Germany is doing? And aligned to that, on Bregal, you will have a lot of financial firepower once it completes. So do you think they have a strong pipeline of deals which will come to you pretty quickly? And my final question is on Comark. Could you just give some indication of where that is versus 2019 at the moment? Thanks.
Well, the first question was about the cyber security. Here, you know, overall at the end of Q3, we are perfectly on track with our plans. We had some difference between the different quarters, but you have to consider in some cases we have sales of products. You know, it's not only a full 100% business of people, so sometimes it's a matter of product. So when you have more product, probably the revenue is likely higher than the other quarter. So there are not significant reasons behind that. this is the main driver and the main difference of this. In terms of cross-selling, there are several activities undergoing with Digital Trust, of course, and they are also working to provide bundled product between cybersecurity and Digital Trust, as well as bringing the cybersecurity solution to their customer. This is an activity that is improving. Teams are working very close, and we do expect this to continue, both within the cybersecurity itself, but also with the other business units. So we are happy of what we are delivering right now is aligned with our expectation, and we expect this to continue down the road. In terms of results of Autada, still Autada is in negative territory in terms of results, but is aligned with the plans that we have. Still activity are small. We do expect to look at it by 2023, and as of today we have no different indicators or KPI from what we do expect when we run the acquisition. In terms of the Bregal and the pipeline of this, definitely InfoCert started when we shared during the presentation of our 3 years plan. The plan to go international by InfoCert is something that we were starting to look at it. Then we enter into discussions with Bregal. Obviously, as we reach an agreement between the two parties, we do believe, first, that both parties are thinking that opportunities are on the market at international level. Second, we enter into the agreement of CERT Europe, and this is, let's say, the first step. Obviously, we have in the pipeline other potential targets. Then, in terms of M&A, you are never sure when it's going to happen, but for sure we have targets that we are looking at and we are working. In terms of Comarch, we may see that okay. In terms of Comarch, Comarch is recovering in terms of revenue and EBITDA compared to the previous year. I will tell you later on which are the figures. Okay.
Okay. Russell, we'll get back to you with an exact number on the EBITDA, but overall, Comarch is obviously rebounding versus the prior year by definition. There is more and more activity in terms of temporary export services, and therefore the requests for such services are obviously in a much better economy than they were prior year.
Okay.
So we'll come back with it.
Comarch is going up, almost in terms of revenue compared to previous year is going up 20%, I will tell you now, in terms of revenue, and is going up more than 30% in terms of EBITDA, 21 to 20. I will come back to you quickly about 19.
Okay, thanks. So can I just follow up on Germany? I mean, your commentary was on the profitability, but could you just talk about how the business is doing operationally in terms of, winning new clients, that kind of thing? Is the market proving to be good? Is it one of those markets that really does need, the contribution from other businesses, perhaps that may come from Bregal?
I mean, operations are running smoothly. We don't see any particular changes. The demand for those such services is up. We don't believe that there is any idea or any potential of any downturn. What exactly would you like to know more, Russell, on Germany?
It's just that, is the business progressing in terms of clients, that kind of thing, how the market is doing, and is it of a size that it's big enough to really compete, or does it need other businesses to come in to join with it, maybe from Bregal, in order to boost its size and their competitiveness?
So in terms, give me a second. So we collected some information in terms of the Germany outlook. There is a strong demand for our top services in terms of product base. And obviously, we expect that from now all the way to spring of next year, there's going to be a stronger demand, in particular for these types of services. So we're very happy with the demand of the product, but at the same time, we're happy with how the clientele is actually progressing in terms of we bringing them services that they're asking for.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As a reminder, if you wish to register for a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone. Once again, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone. The next question is a follow-up from Renato Gargiulo with Stifel. Please go ahead.
Yes, very quick one. On your innovation and marketing services segment, you were pointing out that in terms of business mix, you will probably experience an improvement next year, also based on probably on the new Italian budget law. Can you confirm these indications?
Yes, I'm talking especially about the business of Finanza Agevolata Automatica. So basically, our revenue model is, we are delivering basically consultancy there. So our revenue model is based on a small retainer fee, then a success fee linked to the benefits that the customer are getting in terms of tax relief. The budget law of 21 provides lower percentage of tax relief on the amounts invested. And this was significantly lower compared to 2020. So the management of Warrant was able to fully mitigate this, and we do expect by the end of the year to deliver results totally aligned with results of 2020. That is going to be a significant achievement. As the budget law for 2022 is expected to increase back, not to the level of 20, but in the middle between 21 to 20, the benefits for our customer, we do expect that our average revenue per customer will go up. So this will allow us to improve our profitability.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Renato.
For any further questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone.
In order to complete the answer of Comarch 9 months basically was able in 21 to overperform the results 9 months of 19, slightly above, as well as in terms of EBITDA. You have to consider still that the pandemic in the first 3-4 months of the year was there, so there was still lockdown, people that was not able to go into the customer building and so on. So we feel that the results are extremely positive, being already above the 2019 results.
Do you have any further questions?
Mr. Mastragostino, we do not have any questions registered at this time.
Thank you. We would like to thank you again for connecting to Tinexta's conference call. And if you need any additional information, please don't hesitate to contact us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.